Hi Tila Jammers, how are you doing? So, in this video, we're going to be talking about how to talk to yourself. Now, in the last video, we talked about, talking to your inner child. This is the upgrade. The upgrade is you've matured, you are reasoning better, you are listening more. Now it's really time to talk to you. And this is all about your personality, just knowing who you are and knowing what you'll stand for. So the first thing I would say is you need to listen. You need to listen to that inner voice. And we talked about, listening to your inner child. It's pretty much the same protocol. Listening to yourself, being patient, and applying your awareness of the situation in your response. So I would say the first thing to do is, just listen to that inner voice. And I will say here as well is thinking about parenting, self-parenting, and learning how to talk to yourself. You really have to be in tune with yourself as a parent and the way you were parented. Reason why I say that is a lot of our inner dialogue is from what we know, what we've grown up in, the experience that we had when we were younger, and any traumas along with that. So you could have an inner voice, a self-talk that is quite critical. You could have self-talk that's quite rude and demeaning. You could have self-talk that's quite gentle. It literally is across the board. It goes, anything goes. Now with that said, it's hard. It's very difficult to navigate how you're going to respond to this inner self that's quite critical or quite demeaning. But what I said before in the last video is it's very, very important to actively listen. The reason why I say that is if we dismiss the voice, if we fight the voice, if we tune off the voice, we miss the opportunity to learn and address it. So it's very important for you to really look within and say, okay, I'm here. I hear what you've got to say. Now, I say this without saying that there's not every day that you go about saying, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. It's not about being, I don't know whether you know this term, but brown nosing. Like the student in the class is like, I know the answer, that kind of thing. It's not doing that. You have to have a balance. And this is where I go into the second part of it. Acknowledge what is being said, but stand from a point of view that you are standing up for yourself, not fighting, you're not arguing, you're not putting the voice down, but it's about saying, I hear you, but that is just an opinion. I see what you're trying to say, but for me, I feel this. Now, the way you respond to that inner voice, whether it's a critic, whether it's gentle, will help you with your day, with whatever situation that's causing your inner voice to come up and say certain things. So it's very much, hit and miss. You don't know what you're going to get with these inner voices. And it's really about saying to yourself, okay, how do I manage what they're saying? How do I sit through this, but also give them or it a standpoint of my own? Reason being is if we don't acknowledge with a sense of who we are, then we lose track and we go back to the inner child. We go back to retreating into a childlike phase and not responding in a mature way. This is how things will happen. From my experience, it's very easy to say, oh, I'll just acknowledge what they're saying, and yeah, I'll tell them where to go, is what I'm trying to say. It's very easy to say, but in practice, it's a difficult thing, because it's like standing up to a bully. It's like standing up to your boss and saying, I want a promotion. You have to have that assertiveness about you to yourself. Because a lot of the time we've grown up in situations, I'm going back into why the inner voice is there in the first place. We've grown up in situations where we've been told a certain thing, and it's not been acknowledged that we are also needing to be heard. So that tit for tat, like, I'm the adult, I'm going to tell you what to do, that kind of thing, results in a child feeling like they have no say. And then you grow up into an adult that feels like you have no choice. You have to just people please, go with what everyone's saying, and you never assert yourself because you're scared. And then that actually penetrates yourself. That's how you react to yourself in certain situations. You want to do something, but you want to people please everyone instead. So you don't actually self-actualize. You don't actually reassure yourself, which is the next stage. Through not standing up, but owning yourself, you are then able to be self-assuring. Like, I'm really, really happy that I was able to say what I needed to say. And that goes without saying. It's not about, I need to get off my chest. It's not about that. It's about, okay, we're in this situation, things need to be dealt with. It's about dealing with the matter at hand and not letting it fester, because that's what's happened in our childhood, and that's what's carried on our habitual state of, I'm going to people please, I'm going to make sure everyone's okay, I'm going to do what they want me to do, I'm not going to have a choice, I'm going to victim blame. And I put that word in there. I don't like the word victim, but there are a lot of circumstances where one can say, well, it wasn't you, it was me, it was a situation I put myself into, or, oh, I'm not at fault. We have to erase that from our thinking. Yes, we grew up in certain situations. Yes, we were a child and they were an adult, but now it's your turn to do you. It's your turn to take accountability. It's your place in this life, in this earth, that you've got to navigate now. And we cannot go and retreat to a childlike phase, or even in our adult self. We cannot talk to ourselves in a way that we were talked to when we were younger, which doesn't help. So through self-assurance, through guiding yourself to own what is being said, and then through listening, we are able to nurture ourselves and to talk to ourselves in a way that benefits us. The other thing that I wanted to stress is, when you talk to yourself, tell yourself you belong. Very, very important. Tell yourself, I belong here. And if you're going to have that, tone with me, that's okay. But I belong here. There is nothing more satisfying than knowing your place in this world. You are here for a reason. You are you for a reason. And it's a wonderful thing to be alive. That's what I want to stress to you today. But at the same time, when we learn to feel like we belong through doing these steps, through listening, through asserting ourselves, and then, gradually, thanking ourselves for being here, we can set ourselves apart from situations. We don't have to become the situation. We can go within and we can say, okay, that hurt. And then if you get a inner voice saying, oh, that hurt because you don't know any better, you can then tell yourself, okay, I hear what you're saying. Maybe I've, defaulted in this way before, but I'm forgiving myself, and I'm learning to attune to myself. I'm learning to be a better, person, candidate, parent, partner, whatever it is. And yeah, just being self-assuring and in itself selfish. I think there's a connotation about selfishness that I just want to put out there. Selfishness is not such a bad thing. If you think about it, the people that do everything for others are not always redeemed in themselves. And I say that because a lot of the time it's like, oh, no one's taking advantage of me, but you do feel robbed, especially when you've given and people don't appreciate. So sometimes being a bit selfish and saying, I know what I'm doing here. I know myself. I am here for a reason. My purpose is A, B, C, D. And I know you've got that to say, but Lynette, this, that, and the other, asserting yourself until that inner critical voice kind of takes a back seat on things because it knows you've got this. In a sense, that's what parents kind of do. They guide and they let go. It's like riding a bike. You first start with the stabilizers, to help you balance it out a bit, help you feel a bit comfortable on the bike. And gradually you take the stabilizers off. Your parent guides you, lets you go for a little bit. You fall down. That's the inner critic saying, oh, you've not got this. You can't do this. That challenge in you to say, no, I'm going to try again. I'm going to go for it. You get back on that bike. The parent says, okay, get going. I'm going to let go now. And gradually the parent stops saying, I'm going to let go, and just lets go. And that's similar to this process. And it is a process. I hate saying that. And I always hear that in my head. I hear that being said, Lynette, it's a process. But it is. It's a process of doing and getting to and being. And you will see yourself go far if you just keep on. The one thing I will say is, I know I haven't been posting a lot. I will try to do 2 videos at the most monthly, just to keep the ball rolling, and get some inspo, on the Tila Jam channel. But I love you guys to interact. Tell me what you're feeling. Tell me if this relates. Tell me what videos you want to see or hear about. And yeah, we can have a live video at some point. But it'd be really great to, hear your commentary on what I've spoken about today, and the steps in which would be best to talk to yourself, how to talk to yourself. There is no right or wrong way. There is no one way either. It's really about finding your own, and this is the disclaimer. I have very much done little bits here and there. I've done a bit of some courses. I've done some away days at work. I've done some of my own courses. I've literally taken lived experiences and been like, that didn't help. Oh yeah, that helped. And just meshed things together and kind of brought it into one. Tila Jam is literally one of them. Like, be present is all, the mentality jam was all based around mindfulness, the course that I did on mindfulness. And I just kind of took it and ran, and made it my own. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say to you today. Today, don't fret. Don't think, oh my God, I've got to do it periodically. Listening, what did she say? Because even me, I forget. Take your time, do you, and do what comes naturally. But I love you and leave you for now, and I'll see you on the next one. Remember to choose what you love and love what you choose.